I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say.
Great, another broken white boy for us to fix.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are. With great power comes great responsibility. I can do this all day.
Wakanda forever!
Welcome back, Internet, to a very special episode of Views from the 616, the blackest MCU podcast in all of the realms. We are here again, as we said, with a very special episode. You know we will never leave you high and dry because we always got the goods. We always got the good stuff. And it is one of your hosts, Tatiana King, a.k.a. Captain America, a.k.a. the coldest winter soldier ever. And I'm joined with the bespectacled and glowing
color changing click. It's your boy DJ Ben Amin, aka the Off-White Panther, the Power Toker. That's about it. I ain't gotta say much more today. You know what I mean? Good night.
We don't have to say a lot because we have, we told y'all. Big things. We told y'all we take this very seriously. We are serious about our content. We are serious about all the stuff that we bring you. You saw how we did when we cover all of the things on Disney Plus, including the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You see, Ben Amin has the Cosmic Cube itself. That's how you know how dead ass we are about everything we do here. And we appreciate you. First and foremost, want to thank everybody who has been hitting up our Patreon. Patreon.com/4OhNerds. Y'all have been incredible. Thank you for all of the love and support from everyone from the $1 tier up to the $20 tier or even the $25 tier. I don't even know what tiers we got no more. Just the fact that y'all are on there matters so much and is what keeps us going. It what makes us looking beautiful. It's got us that comic cube. It's got us these mics. It's got us into positions and into rooms where we can do special things. Just like how you see as the title of this episode. But before we get there, there's some stuff that we wanted to talk about and we haven't gotten to talk to you for a while. Like we've been on hiatus, like a brief hiatus for a little bit. We have some more time to go before we talk about Loki. But there's some things that have come out since that time, right, Ben? I mean?
Yeah. How much more time do we have to go?
Maybe
2 weeks?
Like 2 weeks?
3 weeks?
Something like that. I mean, depends on when y'all listen to this. It could have been happening already. But
yeah, right. By now, yeah, for real. Because this is one of them episodes that's going to be everlasting.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you might have already, Loki might be done. But you might be watching this and, Avengers 4 is out. Let me know how it is. Because, I want to know. You can, you might be watching this in time travel is invented. You know what I mean? Let me know how Avengers 20 is then. But for the time being, yeah, we got a few weeks until Loki, and while we waiting, we went and got a little guy you might have heard of, Malcolm Spellman, nothing big, a little something.
Light work.
Light work, talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier real quick. One of the best interviews he's ever done, as you'll hear him say.
He said it, not us.
Not us, you know what I mean? We don't make those claims to fame, but in the meantime, in between time, we are Views from the 616, the blackest MCU podcast in all of the multiverse. And in that multiverse, there is the Sony MCU verse, the SMCU.
Girl, we're not even going to make up this
No, straight up, that's what they call it, I think.
The who?
The SMC.
The SMCU? Like the S-MCU?
Yeah, maybe the SV.
The SVU.
I mean, it should be Sonyverse, it should be. But anyway, the Sonyverse continues to roll on in whatever form or fashion it is. Now, this is one thing. There are a lot of rumors that this will be the last Spider-Man MCU. Far From Home or No Way Home will be it.
But Sony and Marvel came to another deal of like continuing doing joint projects together. So how would this be the last?
I think that deal goes movie for movie right now. We'll see. Because there's a lot of rumors on that, and how they want to take back control, et cetera, blase.
Because they started making money. They were like, back in the day, they did well with the original Spider-Man series. And then it was like, we're in a different time now.
And now they've proven in a way, because for the most part, these movies are produced by Sony. That's the thing, people don't, get, like, as you'll hear from this Malcolm interview, they are very insular with each of their products. And Sony, being a whole different company, is doing these movies on their own. Marvel comes in and offers suggestions and stuff, but they're hiring, the writers, directors, all that, production, all that is Sony. So they've done a great job. Plus, they got Spider-Verse popping. And as we're talking right now, they got Venom, Let There Be Carnage coming very soon.
Yeah. Were you a fan of the first movie?
In a way.
What does that mean?
Not in the way I think that the filmmakers intended for me to be a fan of it. I was a fan of it in its absurdity. And like the same way that I was a fan of, I was just watching this movie. It's the new HBO Max joint with Angelina Jolie, Those Who Wish to Kill Me or something. I was a fan of that movie for its absurdity. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I could ride with you on the term absurdity because I don't think I ever quite liked the movie, the first Venom movie, but I didn't hate it either. Like,
no.
The whole time I was just sitting there like, what the like, just, what am I watching really? And like, there was some stuff here and there where I was just like, oh, that was really super entertaining. But there was also just, I think this absurdity is just a good name for it because I never quite landed on either side of that's amazing or that's terrible because it's neither of those. It's there.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's part of it. It's visceral, literally, figuratively. It's, as you said, it's part of this multiverse of things. Even at the end of it, when you had I don't know if it was the first or the second after credit scene when they did a little bit of the Spider-Man multiverse. Into the multiverse, rather. That was one of the after credit scenes. So they're part of the connection of stuff, but it's just like, just the Venom by itself. It's just, their approach to it is different.
Yes.
It's just, I don't have any great way to describe it, but different.
Well, as someone who, like, some of my formative years, especially early comic book years, were like the debut of Venom when Todd McFarlane, and I cannot remember the writer at the time. I want to say it's Salicrup, but don't quote me on that one. But I know Todd McFarlane is basically responsible for the look and feel of Venom because he was the artist at the time when they introduced him. And when he first came onto the book, you can look on our YouTube actually and watch our interview with Todd McFarlane, where I tell him this, where I was like, yo, man, the first time I even got interested in Spider-Man was when I saw your cover for issue 298, the first cover that he did for the book. And I was like, what the is that Spider-Man? Like, because to me before that, Spider-Man was corny. He was whack. He looked stiff. Steve Ditko was the famous artist who pretty much originated the look of Spider-Man. And he's a great, fantastic artist, but his style is just, it's mad old school. I couldn't get with it as a kid at all, And so when and everyone after that aped him for the longest until Todd McFarlane came along. And then Todd became the definitive Spider-Man artist of my generation. So when Todd came on and when they introduced Venom, I was hyped. I love Venom. He was dope. But looking back on it, it's, he's kind of a corny ass character in the general. It's kind of like this. He ain't like Green Goblin. He ain't got the pathos of the Goblin. It's like, it's kind of a mess. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, people have done great things with him in the time. Good things, bad things. He's a cool character, whatever. My thing that I really wish, and I'm really hoping for with this new Venom film, is that they really lean into the whole like deconstruction of the macho stereotype that I felt like they were doing in the first one. And that's one thing that, as far as this interview we got coming, there's always more questions that I wish I could ask from someone. And that's something I really wanted to talk to Malcolm about. And I know we'll have him back to talk to him later about it, but I really want to talk about how they were deconstructing the macho stuff in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like when they had Falcon and Winter Soldier rolling around in the grass together.
And they were sitting really close to each other and all that stuff.
Legs intertwined, and all this type of thing. And that's what I loved about Venom, how they had this whole Venom and Eddie Brock relationship going on, and I really want them to lean into that, in the most horrible tentacle sex way you can imagine, folks. Yeah, that's what I want.
Well, my first entry into just Spider-Man overall had always started with Spider-Man, the animated series that was on Fox Kids.
Oh, God.
And that's how I learned about it. And I know most of those Fox Kids things were informed damn near directly or heavily by the comics. So that's how I was able to learn about it without knowing about the comics. Like I never read the comics or anything like that. I just watched the shows. So a lot of my, at least initial early understanding and story learning and all that about the characters and the storylines of Spider-Man came directly from the animated series, including Venom, including Carnage. So for me, this, especially the first Venom movie, it was just an amped up, even more different version of the Venom that I saw. Like, Venom was an asshole in the Spider-Man the animated series.
Yes.
Venom did say wild shit in the animated series. So I'm used to that. I'm like, okay, cool. Then they just, to me, because of special effects and all the, and snarky writers and things like that, they just dial it up several notches where it's just like, okay. And also, as a child, I actually thought Venom was scary.
Oh, so, no, in the comics, same. When he first showed up, he was terrifying.
Okay, he was scary to me. So they did, it's this dark comedy approach that they've done with the movie Venom. And some of that, I still feel the twinge of fear whenever Venom just goes a little bit too far. But then he says some wild shit in that, like, Cookie Monster Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. Yes. And that's why I'm saying, where I'm like, I don't know where I stand really on Venom, besides it's different or it's unique and it's, what's the word you use? Not audaciousness, or maybe you did, just in its
that's a great one.
Okay, it's very audacious and it's perplexing to me because I can't, and perhaps that's what it was. I can't make the calculations of what I'm seeing. Like, I can't do 1 + 1 = 2 with when it comes to the Venom movie, because it incorporates what I know about Venom and it matches that pattern that I've established since I was a kid. But then it just goes into another direction where I'm like,
well,
okay, I accept it, I guess.
One is, we know they did not have Tom Holland or any type of Spider-Man in the first one. There is rumors that Tom or some type of Spider-Man might make an appearance in the second one.
Yeah.
You do see the reporter reading the Daily Bugle, so that is established to exist, even though the Daily Bugle in the MCU seems to be more of a blog type thing and not a newspaper anymore. But we'll see. I got a couple questions.
But they've established J. Jonah Jameson, that we know across the universes.
Yeah, that we know across the Sony MCU. But also, the thing is, even in the Venom verse, right? All right, I don't want to get confused here, but in the Venom verse, who is Spider-Man? Is it Tom Holland? 'Cause remember, that's the other thing. Okay, now someone made this, I think it was on Reddit somewhere. They're like, what if Venom killed or had something to do with Spider-Man's death in this verse? Right? What if that's why? What if it already happened? That's why Venom is even in San Fran when it first one starts, and not in New York. What if he killed Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? Is what they were saying.
Sure.
And then
you could say anything. And
then they introduced Miles in this movie with people's suggestions.
Listen, everything people are going to say is going to sound absolutely ridiculous. It just sounds ridiculous because, and not ridiculous because it couldn't happen, but who the fuck knows? Like, you can, cause with that theory, that direction of that theory, you can insert and take out any number of Spider-Man. At the end of the day, Spider-Man is that multiverse character, and with Spider-Man Enter the Multiverse, within things like Spider Island, like that understanding that there are essentially infinite numbers of Spider-Men. So that type of theory, it's kind of ridiculous because, like, anybody, it could be anybody. Who knows? It's fun to talk about.
It's so funny how Spider-Man has become identified with the Spider-Verse and, like you said, Spider Island and this idea. Because when I was growing up, that was not a thing. Spider-Man was just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, there was no idea that there was multiple Spider-Men across multiverses.
Correct. And like I said, even as the Spider-Man animated series watcher, all I knew of was 3. Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage.
Yep.
That was it. And whether it was correct understanding or not, my understanding as a child was Carnage was a mix of the two. So that's not even correct. Like, in nowadays, when you're talking about all the different stories that have happened, that was my understanding as a child.
Carnage is the symbiote of Venom, like he's a spinoff of Venom.
Yeah. But it's just like, even that, like having that childhood understanding and then it being upended by all these news stories, and then now this.
Isn't Venom? I mean, Carnage's real name Cletus.
Well, there are several different Carnages. That's
no,
what
the Carnage, the first
Carnage that's in the movie is Cletus Cassidy.
Cletus Cassidy.
The murderer, the serial killer.
Cletus Cassidy.
The serial killer.
I mean, can we stop on that for a second and say Cletus Cassidy is this, like, Peter Parker, Cletus Cassidy. You know what I mean? Like, and Eddie Brock. I always love Eddie Brock. That's such a great one.
I've always loved Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
And didn't Eddie end up being Carnage in a cartoon?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I know he was Venom, but I'm just saying, didn't he? That's what I'm saying.
Man,
There's so
that
many
shit
different.
gets so twisted in the
There's
comics,
right. There's so
cartoon.
many twisted storylines, and perhaps, and again, I was a kid, so my memory could have just mixed the two. But
They didn't have Carnage's spinoffs like Scream and Toxin. I think their names
I don't
are.
remember. If they did, it might have been off by then.
Yeah, that's some other
Because it went off
symbiotes.
the series went off of air in '98.
Okay.
So if
I
they
think
did,
those
I don't
characters
know.
were established by then, but I'm not 100% by then. Yeah, I would think they were because I wasn't reading like when Carnage first came out is when I was like out of comic books for a minute. Like
Yeah, but like Carnage had like multiple hosts too, so it's just like
I was done with all that by then. I didn't read comics for like a good 5 years during that time. Of the late 90s, I was done. Yeah, I had no interest.
But so again, that's just how I've just went into like the first movie, and then with the second movie, I had said this to someone else online. I was just like, look, I wasn't like the biggest fan, but I also wasn't against the first movie. So for me, I'm watching part 2 or Let There Be Carnage for continuity's sake.
And just because I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Like Woody Harrelson is to go in there and act a goddamn fool.
And I fucks with Woody.
I'm always down for that. What's his name? Tom Brady. I mean, not Tom Brady. Tom Hardy.
Brady.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Brady is Carnage.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, jeez.
Tom Brady is Carnage for that matter. Tom Hardy is just going to be great, again.
Tom Hardy, I fucks with him.
I cannot believe Tom Hardy is actually doing the second Venom movie. You know what I mean? Like, we live in a world where Tom Hardy, established great actor.
Tom Hardy can't believe he's doing a second Venom movie. How about that? How did we get here? And I'm saying
his bank account can.
That's the absurdity. That's the word you used earlier. Absurdity. Yeah. The absurdity of just that. Like, this guy and then
Dunkirk.
This is who he is. Like, even within the movie itself, it's like, even though he's acting, I still feel like I see Tom Hardy in the movie. Like, what the fuck am I doing in this scene? Like,
I mean, that man's accent that he did in that first one was so out of control that.
And it changed. And I hope.
Yeah.
Again, and to be very clear to the listeners, I'm not dogging out the movie. I'm just expressing my confusion, but also my acceptance, but also my non-acceptance. It's just all over the place. And perhaps that was quite intentional because that's how anytime I see Venom and the first movie, and now that the trailer of the second, all I think of is chaos. And that's what it has always, since I was a child, Venom has stood for chaos for me.
Yes, and it's like Sony woke up and chose chaos when they decided to make this.
They chose chaos and violence, and that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
100%.
And also, I just want to know, is Carnage trying to have an ill voice like the Oscar,
I think it's hilarious. Cookie Monster mixed with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
If you listen and watch that opening scene in the trailer once more of Venom 2, y'all gonna hear it.
I'm about to go rewatch Venom maybe tonight. I haven't seen it since.
I can't rewatch it. I was just like, what is going on?
I haven't seen it since the first time I watched it. I think I'm going to rewatch that later on tonight.
You be by yourself.
I will.
Because you might want to take some shrooms or something because it's too much.
They're always readily available. Anyway, but speaking of watching, this is something I wanted to bring up to you too. And since we're on Views from the 616 for All Nerds, real quick, before we get to this Malcolm Spellman interview, I know that you recently watched Hollywood Shuffle.
I did. Freaking hilarious. When did this movie come out? In the 80s?
I want to say 86.
Oh, okay. Firmly in the 80s. Still relevant. Number one, still hyper, and which is so freaking wild. And I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm just surprised how hyper relevant it still is. With the exception of like maybe a couple of lines where I'm like, y'all wouldn't say that in 2021.
Yeah. No.
Besides that, everything still was valid. And that's both like hilarious and also like scary. Like, damn, shit hasn't changed in 30 years?
I mean, it's changed just slowly. Slowly. I mean, we wasn't getting a Black Panther in 86.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. But that being said, I did enjoy Hollywood Shuffle quite a bit. And you had told me, like, as you watch, like, as I watched it, I was going to see some faces, familiar faces. And yes, I could point out all the randoms, like randomly Paul Mooney at the end.
Yep.
And like all these people, like I know there's plenty of faces, but I just didn't recognize who they were, what their impact was. But there was a few that were at least on another level that I did see, and like, oh, that's because was Tommy Davis in it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tommy. Most of Living Color is in it at some point.
Like the Wayans, the family.
The Wayans, the whole family's in it. Yeah, the whole family of the Wayans in it.
Yeah, but it was fun. And like I said, with the exception of a few things that they said, generally it was still funny. Like,
I mean, brilliantly funny.
Y'all don't know, but like I told Ben, like the night that I was watching, I was like, okay, I'm starting now. And within 10 minutes or I don't know, 12 minutes, I texted him, was like, yo, this shit is hilarious. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not even like in a quarter of the way into the movie. Like, and I just kept laughing.
Constant, yeah.
It's constant. It's just constant ridiculousness.
And I've talked about it with you for years. I've been so happy you watched it. But why I bring it up again is I was thinking about doing a watch party with For All Nerds because it's on Hulu. It's directed and written by Robert Townsend. For those who don't know, is Meteor Man. I mean, a million other things. And I feel like he does not get the flowers and the roses he deserves.
Yeah, I agree.
So I was like, let's do a watch party or something to celebrate Mr. Robert Townsend. And hopefully that would convince this man to come on the show since he follows me, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, we're still waiting like Wesley on that one.
I didn't think we were still waiting on Wesley. I thought we was done with that.
We pretty much are. You know, we've moved on. You know,
we've moved on. But
we're gonna start asking.
It still would be nice, but we moved on. Yeah,
we need to ask what's your favorite Will Smith movie.
Oh. The disrespect.
Look,
the disrespect.
Somebody might be a little bitter over here. I'm just saying.
Absolute disrespect.
Look, I got pictures with Wesley smiling. Where he's like, yeah, I'll be there. And his assistant was like, yeah, here's his email. Hit us up.
Crickets for 5 years. No, I'm just saying. I know it's been 5 years.
I sent 3 separate emails.
Well, at least you tried. You know, the Bart Simpson, he wheels out that cake that says, at least you tried. That's what we're eating right now. So, at least you tried. Whatever.
But what we didn't try, we did do is get Mr. Monsieur Malcolm Spellman on Views from the Six. Our first guest
on Views from the 616. Yeah, and that's pretty damn good for our first.
I mean, that's pretty big right there. You know what I mean? Like
the showrunner and head writer of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm. You know, Marvel does not have any showrunners. We called him the showrunner, but he is actually just the head writer because Marvel, because of their production method and like as you'll hear on his interview, the specific way they do production, and because I think they're trying to get rid of that whole auteur, one person is everything idea of a showrunner. That can happen when you got a dickhead showrunner. Not all of them are like that. Some of them are awesome, you know. I hope to be one myself one day. Not the dickhead kind.
Wearing them shades.
Yeah, wearing the yeah. Let's break this character down, folks.
But we got him. We tried.
That's how I'll do it with
and
shades.
We succeeded. And thank you, just gracious thank you to Malcolm Spellman. And really just thank you to everyone who has been supporting us and helped to make this happen. Because without y'all, without the listeners, we wouldn't be here right now.
Yep. So we will be right back with the one and only Malcolm Spellman here on Views from the 616.
Cheers.
And what's good, y'all? And today on the spaceship, once again, we are bringing you that heat, to say the least, because today is a very special day for the Fan Fam. You might know our guest from a little show starring Lucius Lyon and Cookie, or you might have caught his docuseries Hip Hop Uncovered. And if you're a Views from the 616 listener, then you know him as the showrunner and the big dog in charge. The one and only Malcolm Spellman is on the spaceship tonight.
Woo! Thank you so much for joining us. We got to give you a warm welcome. Very excited to have you here, man. We had a blast. It was an emotional roller coaster with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to say the least. And we just wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit more about not just so much the process, but what we trying to get out of this, and also just understand you a little bit more, sir.
Great. Well, shit, that intro was the best intro I've ever gotten in an interview. So, off to a good start.
Good. Yeah, of course, it's all love here, man.
Mm-hmm. But before we do get into the Falcon and Winter Soldier, we got to get back into some of your origins, right? We know you're from the Yay area. We know, how you grew up and all that. But when did you first, realize you're geeked, and when did you become one of the fam?
It goes back and it goes deep, and it's funny. Like, y'all might have had similar experience, right? I'm a neighborhood dude. I'm from a certain era. Where just the country was just rough in a different way. I was never a rough kid, you know what I'm saying? But I grew up around rough kids, and those are my people, and I talk to them to this day, you know what I'm saying? So they call me a nerd, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a little kid going out and buying comic books, but I'm still coming back to the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Like with it. And I got lucky, man, growing up in Berkeley in particular. Oakland is pretty good, but growing up in Berkeley, it wasn't an issue like it is in some neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be tough to be a comic book. You went and stole some Dungeons and Dragon books or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Where I came from, those people are my family, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the connection never broke. And I really wish, I feel like there needs to be a movement in these neighborhoods, that we call the hood. I just call them neighborhoods, where they embrace, we embrace our Black nerds so that people feel like coming home. Yeah. And if they go out and make it and they felt supported by their community, they don't want it. It's not a trauma. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They want to come home. But anyway, from a little kid, dude, I'm from Berkeley. So I grew up with comics, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And obviously everything else, you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons already. So yeah. We see it goes deep.
Yeah, and like I said, dude, no lie. Like, I'm not gonna name his name, but we had cats playing D&D with us that go out and rob a bank right afterwards, right? It's a different thing in the Bay, you know what I'm saying? Like,
welcome to the family. That's what we do here. Yeah. That's what we do.
Yeah, it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was, I think, like, people hear nerd and they think you're not part of the block. And you are, you know what I'm saying? You step right outside, go play hoop, hook up with the same girls that everyone, you know what I'm saying? You right there with the people, at least from my era, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't really separation between my group and what was going on inside. But yeah, we're the early innovators in the Black nerd thing, I guess.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you made that distinction between the generations, because I was one of the first lucky generation. I'm a millennial. So I was one of the first lucky generations where it was starting to be okay to be a nerd. It's still, you have the things you have to go through, especially as a girl and as a Black woman. But just having that, as you said, that community, having to know that the same people who's into all the anime, Yu-Gi-Oh, and all that other stuff is the same people who's hooping down the street. So I think that's really beautiful to see the progression. And exactly like you said, and there is lots of bastions of black nerd love and Black nerd understanding. So I just really, and I hope you're happy to see that it has progressed and improved over time.
Way better now. Like I said, this is I reconnected with this cat. Like, he's a genius. This dude was in AP classes in high school, you know what I'm saying? And had a set of books at home and a set of books at school. So he didn't have to carry his you can't expose yourself, because he was a real street dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's way better now, and it's beautiful to see, All
right. Well, one of the things that we loved about Falcon and Winter Soldier is that there were so many different viewpoints from Black voices, because most of the time we get the token, we get one character who's basically speaks for everyone. But this one had multiple angles about pretty much every issue that was presented. And beyond that, it was sometimes it wouldn't even be angles that I'd agree with personally, but it was just nice to see it. So was it important for you to present all those viewpoints even when they contradicted your own?
Absolutely. We didn't want to decide who was right or wrong. Sam's sister, Isaiah, Sam, we didn't want to decide who's right or wrong. That was very, very important to us, so that you could see it, and you could see the diversity even in one family. You could see the sister fucks with him all the time when she says Uncle Sam. You know what I'm saying? You kind of get a sense of who she is. Y'all like that awkward stop I did right in the middle of talking?
Well, see, actually, you know what? That's so funny because, I feel like I see that happening more and more on TV too. Because it's like, you want to see how the person reacts, right? Are they going to like freak out or do they wait?
Sometimes I feel like I ramble. And if I made a point, even if my tone is saying I got more to say, I'm trying to be disciplined and shut the fuck up because I made a point. And it's only going to get worse from there. So that's what that was about.
But Malcolm, you're on For All Nerds. Like what we do is we make our points, we give our science, we give the math, and we keep it going until you're ready to stop. Like, don't worry about that. You got all the time in the world, man. As much time as you want to give to make your point. We're not going to stop you. But now, if we feel like something's wild or doesn't make sense, we're going to jump in. But absolutely, please be able to speak. But did you have more to say on that point?
No, I felt like it was getting blurry, so I stopped talking.
No, I understood you very clearly, and really, when it comes to understanding you, or rather understanding your voice, the voice of the writers' room, I've seen and read and other interviews you've done where you express that the writers' room is mostly Black, which is phenomenal. Absolutely makes sense because episode 1, Ben Amin and I looked at each other and said, "This is the blackest thing we've ever seen from Marvel," so it makes all of that sense. And with our show, Views from the 616, that's our MCU-focused podcast, we broke down each episode. Yeah, we did pointing out Easter eggs and comic book references, but we wanted to make it a point, and that's probably why we became popular. We wanted to make it a point to break it down within themes. So we understood like the direction y'all were going in a lot of the episodes, understanding that the mirrored theme. Like there was one episode where you just kept seeing mirrors happening between the two, mirrors between John Walker and Lamar versus Bucky and Sam, and so on and so forth. So we were really trying to examine what you and the creative team were trying to say. And as a creative, like how do you go about crafting this story?
It's you got to be rigorous, right? And the more your process, the more you can sort of, we were all methodical. It's a great group of people, including our partners from Marvel, on mapping out every single thing so that all the discussions that you have that's just kind of like intellectual can start to find a home and be embodied through characters and drama. So each character's arc is mapped all the way out across every single episode, right? Okay. Then each character's relationship is mapped all the way out across every episode. Then you had a plot mapped out. This is before you even break it into episodes, right? When you're looking at all that, it starts to become you're more able to start really now layering in theme and turn it into shit that you can actually see or hear, because you're looking at this giant board and able to say, oh, well, if in episode 2, Sam and Bucky are here, this is happening down here. It would be great if he said or did something like this. So it was a long process of really trying to get clear on the whole picture before we chopped it up into episodes. You know what I'm saying? So that we knew all the stuff, all the conversation. That show is basically, man, everybody is a living embodiment of conversation that's happening today. You know what I'm saying? And it feels like it's working for people. It feels like people are saying this shit feels modern and tapped in. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes. So yeah, but that's it. Just being methodical. That's how you get it in there.
Right.
You did that. Now, even though we pointed out a lot of the underlying themes on our own show, and we hoped honestly, I mean, I'm sure you saw this. I know you talked about avoiding the credits, but a lot of people just kind of miss things sometimes. And we weren't surprised. Well, we were surprised sometimes.
I was surprised.
And sometimes even a little bit dismayed, because you're like, damn, like, were you surprised or dismayed or sad or anything by like when people didn't get the bank scene was rooted in racism?
I truly, like you, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook, right? When I stumble into it, it's hard to believe. And it feels like active denial. It feels like active denial. I don't believe, you have to not have a television in 2021 to not know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe people don't know what's happening. I believe it's active denial. So yeah, it'd be disappointing when I did see it. And I always doubted it. I always doubted it was genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like people were being deliberately, I should be careful, but I felt like people were being.
I'll say it for you, willful ignorance.
Yeah. I just, at least in 2021, man, I don't know, man. There's really no more debate.
It's like what else can you
no more
say?
Debate, man. The world is the world, and y'all see what it is, and you know what we're referencing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking just like, what else can you say? How else can you say it? Because the other thing that like critics or whatever struggle with, particularly Black critics, is like, what's that line you ride between, as I call it, the PBS special, with being very on the nose about what this is about versus just allowing the viewer to be smart enough to read between the line. And then when you present something like this with the bank scene, where at least from a Black person, right away, before they even say 2 words, you already know what's about to go down. But to your point, even as a non-Black person, you have a TV, you've seen this stuff, and yet willful ignorance or otherwise, it doesn't click. So is that idea, like, do you think about the idea of how to balance, how to give the lesson?
You really try. The skill comes from all of us trying to make the lesson be manifested in drama and behavior. You really, like, you will occasionally have Sam saying, I'm a Black man from the South, what don't I understand, right? Which is right there on the nose.
Right.
But that felt like what he would say too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
You can't shut your character up if they're gonna say certain things. And you try not to do the old school version of standing on a pulpit and getting it out there, because the truth is, Marvel, long before I came along, wanted these characters to embody these social conversations. And that's what their DNA is as characters. So if John Walker is using excessive force with a shield, I shouldn't have to say more. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to say more. And I shouldn't have to have someone say, I want to be mindful, it's you really do try and balance it, and make it feel as natural as possible. And you know what? And you try not to have no agenda. Like, it just, we didn't have to reach. It just, like, the truth is the truth. And Marvel is aware that these conversations would have to happen if you hand a Black man that shield. It's not like we should, if you tried not to do it, you would be lying.
Now, you spoke about that, about John Walker and his use of excessive force. Now, I was honestly, I mean, not honestly,
yes,
I knew it was coming, but I was also surprised by the reaction to John killing someone who, to me, had just attempted to kill him.
That's right.
Especially considering the Avengers have killed countless people on screen. Like, they just, they be murdering people left and right.
Have they killed him like that, Ben?
I mean, they straight, hold up, Malcolm. They do straight up bomb them. Like Iron Man flies by with the rockets.
Oh my God.
Dudes don't even get a chance to apologize when he come through.
So let me say this. We definitely worked very hard not to judge John Walker, right? We wanted to keep his humanity. We wanted him to also be a dude who dedicated his life to this country and was being fucked over in his own way by being what the country expected him to. That dude had just killed his best friend, right? But the truth is, when you get into situations like murder in our community or murders coming from law enforcement, a vast majority, those are in similar situations.
Correct.
Where they are hot-blooded because of what's happening. Some people might feel like Walker was justified. Some people don't. And you want it to be complicated like that, because the only way we're going to get to shit shifting is if these conversations become active, And if you sit there and say John Walker is bad or John Walker is good, then you're not really having a conversation, because it's usually not that start.
No, thank you. Because I kept saying that on the show. I was saying that, the system we are under F's over everyone on different levels. And John Walker definitely has privilege of being a white male in this system. But at the same time, this system is effing him over. And I made the argument that he's damn near as brainwashed as Bucky is in different levels.
It's funny, like, if you look at every Black movement, right, they always include working class whites. It's the difference between our movements and theirs. We understand historically the Jim Crow laws were designed to split us away from poor and working class white people, because that's the bond that people are terrified of, right? And Walker's loss of privilege and the rage around it, to me, is consistent with something happening in America. And the crazy thing is, the people who most understand them and could have compassion for them are the people they're raging at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it just really mirrored this phenomenon. I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble for this interview. Anyway, yeah, we wanted shit to be complicated and, you know, not one-sided.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we understand the complications in it, and I mean, you joked about it just now. You half joke and half serious about getting in trouble for this interview, but the ideas and the themes, the underlying ideas and the themes, and underlying energy, really, Ben and I we often discuss like the difficulties of writing like revolution and really talking about true revolution within various communities, but how difficult is that doing that within the framework of Marvel? Like, from what I understood, Marvel pretty much gave you a lot of runway, but also there's still certain standards that needs to be met to within the Marvel framework. So, like, could you just those
it was
difficulties
way
were
more
there?
Free than you think. Meaning this,
really,
Marvel is going to stay involved with you because if they don't, you're going to write a scene where Vision walks through the door, right? And you don't know, because they don't tell you what else is going on, right? You don't know that you're ruining something else in the MCU, right? So they have to guide you there. And they're very, very creative people. And they deserve a lot of credit. Let me say this, because that's condescending by itself. Marvel is not Marvel by accident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something special is happening up there. And you are joining something bigger than yourself when you go work there. And if you don't believe me, look at the pedigree of what's come out before you. You know what I'm saying? Now, once you get into telling the story, man, I was surprised. Like, I never got pushback on the shit that I thought I would have got pushback on. You know what I'm saying? I never, it was, I believe that a big part of that was, you know, bless R.I.P. to Chadwick, him, what he did with Ryan Coogler and Joe Robert Cole, I think just shattered Black Panther, just shattered the world's limitations on what heroes could look like. And Killmonger's speech opened the door for a lot of what we did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So by the time I showed up, man, they had already proven that there's a lot of space, you know what I'm saying, to create. And they didn't push back on, like, you know, they're gonna hit you on the stuff that you know they're gonna hit you on, the stuff that does not jive with the MCU, what they're doing. You know, you can't spend. They gave us a lot of money, but you know, you can't spend all the money. You know what I'm saying? But it's mostly stuff like that.
Okay, now we do have this theory on our show about what we call killmongering a character. And it's not just a Marvel thing. We just use Killmonger for the popular example because it's when a character does something so egregious where you just go, okay, that guy, I can't agree with him. Because beyond, to us at least, beyond Killmonger shooting his girlfriend, choking out the grandmother, he's, you know, got a lot of good ideas. So is it the same thing with Carly? Because we were like, I personally wasn't feeling Carly from the jump because I felt like she was going to just turn into what she turned into. You know, from initial thought, she's kind of funny style. You know, so,
I see we got ourselves a conservative over here. You know what I'm saying? I know who you are at the barbershop, bro. I know exactly who you are.
The funny thing is, that's not even it. But I do like to, you know, my thing is I hate hypocrisy. And I hate when people are like, oh, this person's good, this person's bad. And I'm like,
we
wait a minute.
We didn't do that though, did we?
No, you didn't. No. But people watching the show did. And that's what I kept trying to point out to people, is that it wasn't so simple as Carly's a good guy or John's a bad guy.
That is 100% true. We wanted every antagonist in our show thinks they're a hero, and we want their philosophy to be relatable. Like Thanos also thinks he's a hero, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But nobody can get on board with his philosophy, right?
Right.
We wanted all our characters to have worldviews and philosophies that people could get on board with. You don't know how many people 3-4 episodes in were texting me and emailing me saying, is Carly going to become a hero in the MCU? Because her views and representing people who feel powerless, who are displaced or whatever, right? They are rooted in righteousness. Look at Sam. Sam didn't want to give up on her. You know what I'm saying? But Ben did.
The thing is, though, I gave up on all of them, dog. I think, like, I can't stand Wanda. I think, Tony was a monster up until damn near right before he died. I kind of understood Thanos. I just look at things in a different viewpoint. I just like to take it all in.
Like I said, I know who you are at the barbershop.
Because I hate cops. I'm definitely gonna abolish the fucking police and all that. Nah, F that. I just, but all these Avengers be out there killing people.
But we definitely really worked hard to try and keep these characters having redeemable qualities, humanity, and points of view that were rooted in the way the world feels today, man. Like, people do feel powerless. And there's an argument from Carly's point of view, the all power to all people, right? Those days could truly be over. I don't really know what you do with these corporations and these human beings, like individuals who have the power of a continent in one person, right? Forget governments. We're talking about the billionaire class and that phenomenon. And it can be as real as being displaced because your country's been torn apart by bombs, or you lost your job, or it could be as trivial as try and get customer service on your phone, right? You don't feel any power as a regular person. And Carly was fighting for those people and believed in that and embodied those views. And a lot of people was fucking with her because of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I was largely fucking with her, up until some stuff started going Hail Hydra route, and I was like, okay, I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, that like, I got it, but when she starts blowing people up, when she's like, I'll just go kill John Walker, I'm like, that's not gonna make you any, like Sam said, that's just making you a different type of person.
But you could tell she was really listening to Sam too. And the argument we made is, in that moment, had Walker not stormed in, Sam had her.
He did. I agree.
Sam had her.
Yep. No, I agree. John is also, a maniac at points too. He's got that white privilege where he's like, okay, I'm right, and I'm gonna go do this, and everybody else can go F themselves.
It's that aggressive attitude that makes America great and makes America at times awful.
Yeah, it's a wild dichotomy we got to live through. But what you said, you mentioned earlier about Ryan Coogler and Black Panther and the impact that made on multiple levels. And that just reminds me of that idea of storytelling and connecting the diaspora, because you've mentioned before how Black Panther, and right here now on this show, how Black Panther set the bar high. You're telling the story at that point from an African character's perspective. And now with Falcon and Winter Soldier, this is an African American telling that perspective. So just in your views, like, how do you want to, either from this show and going forward, how you want to connect the diaspora with these storytelling?
I'm gonna try and be disciplined. Like, this particular thing to me really had some pretty meaningful roots to it and could go there, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you can't force that. Like, if something else comes along, let's say I'm doing a comedy or whatever, right? If that comedy doesn't have a ton to say, maybe it just has a little bit to say, but it's going to help create, a Black star who then can go off and empower a story that we never thought would have been made. It's all part of the same metric and part of the same stew. Like, one thing, we're dedicated to over at our company is to try and have, like, people use diversity as a sort of dirty word, which means small. And this is for Latino people. This is for Asian people. This is for, you know what I'm saying? And for us, the goal is shit like Black Panther or Crazy Rich Asians or whatever. Not exactly those movies, but projects that are culturally specific and tell our story, but do it in a way that create international Black superstars so that we can do big projects and do, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a big hurdle right now. That is, we're still fighting that battle and that myth that the world doesn't want to see us. You know what I'm saying? So you know that's our main dedication. And when you can go deep with it, and a project allows you to go deep with it, then you got to be fearless. But at the same time, you got to be disciplined and not force it. If there's a better story to tell that's less meaty and has less substance, but it's better, you got to be disciplined and tell the better story, and you'll get them next time. You know,
that's facts. All right,
now,
cool.
yeah.
Y'all are great though. This is one of the best interviews I had.
Oh,
No,
thank you,
you.
man. Thank you. We got like one more question and then our quick like rapid fire joints, and then we'll get you out of here.
Let's do it.
All right, thank you. Like listening to your interview with Kevin and Mark, I was like, one thing that really stood out to me was beyond like I said, all the similarities we have, that we both spent a lot of time working outside of Hollywood. We're from that same generation, and then I've never had that experience of just having a run like Empire and then Winter Soldier, but I've been on a hot show and then not knowing what's going to happen after that. And, still in that kind of in some ways. And so my question for you is like, you went through this, like listening to that and hearing the time, when you had that script drop and then to Empire, it's like, how do you maintain your sanity and just how do you maintain during, those times?
It's difficult, man. And it's hard. I think people need to understand that, I did give up, you know what I'm saying? Like I will say this, even when I gave up, I kept writing. But in my heart, I truly believed it was over. And I wasn't strong, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have faith. Like, I think, those people are amazing who never lose the hope, you know what I'm saying? But I for sure did. And the shit, I mean, we can't, like I said, there's just certain things you can't get into, but like the people who know me know where that struggle went, you know what I'm saying? But the one thing I did do is I just kept writing, you know what I'm saying? I truly did not believe it was going to happen. Like, I thought it was done, but I was like, I'm just going to keep writing anyway. I told someone in another interview, I was basically writing out of spite. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
That's so real. And like, I'm not, I lose faith, but I still have faith because it also, I haven't been through that long. It's been a couple years since I worked on like at least, where I was in a room working, I've done pitches, worked on this and that. But thank you for that, man. Cause that, that interview and just, your whole story is so inspiring. Yeah. And that's something that we want to do on this show is show people, cause like we talk about our process, how we've had pitches, how we've been on, certain projects. When I was in American Gods, I told everyone all about it. And so we like to show people the ways. So just to people understand there are ways that they can do this and they can achieve this, and that, that everyone goes through it where they give up sometimes. And then they, boom, you on Empire, boom, you on this, so.
Yeah. And just the fact that it's not all sunshine and rainbows and you do give up sometimes. Like, I think that's real. No one ever talks about it. There's always like, oh, I held out faith. It's like, no, what's the real tea is I was over it.
Yeah.
So, and it is what it is. All right. So before you get out of here, we're going to do the quick rapid fire. We're going to give you 2 or 3 options and we just need you to pick one. Okay. If you want to elaborate on why you picked it, that's fine, but we're going to give it to you. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The first question we have is the Falcon or War Machine?
Falcon.
Okay. The Wire or Breaking Bad?
Damn. Wire. The Wire. That's a tough one though. I just, again, I come from that, you know what I'm saying? So it is, but they're both masterpieces. But the Wire, them kids, I mean, it's directly talking to the experience,
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. E40 or Too Short?
This is devastating.
Gotta pick one.
I knew it would be.
Here's why I'm gonna say short. Ooh. Because I'm from Berkeley. That's for people who don't know, it's a college city that's literally right next door to Oakland. I grew up right on the border. So we got the old school Too Short tape from Freddie B as kids where he was rapping off Vanity 6, instrumentals and shit. And he was so Bay Area, specifically Oakland identified. Again, if anyone under 40 only knows that everyone repped their cities. Mm-hmm. But back in the old days, New York and LA was so dominant, people would claim cities that they weren't even from, or not claim where they were from. Mm-hmm. Short was repping Oakland and the Bay, shouting out Berkeley. Howard came through from the B-Town, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta go Short, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm from Houston, and I'm from Third Ward, so it's like, I remember when the Born to Mac poster was on this mall that I drive by, and I was just like, this guy's a superstar, that was just, yeah.
Yeah, there's always been there's some odd cities like Houston, Kansas City, Detroit. There's always been a weird connection between the Bay Area and those cities. I don't know why, but you would be a local rapper from Oakland could tour those cities also, and vice versa.
It's that hustler. It's like Chicago and Houston too, because I knew when I got to Howard, all my Chicago heads love Ghetto Boys, like harder than, I love Ghetto Boys, but I was like, these cats love them some Ghetto Boys.
Yeah.
All right, one last question. If you could have any one superpower, what would it be?
Well, you know what? I'm a cheat because I can't think of a good one. I'm going to say Molecule Man.
Oh.
Okay, you got to school me on that.
My man, you just showed your geek cred right there. Usually
people say they're going to cheat. They're going to say what I say, which is Rogue.
He
cheated.
You
just touch people.
Oh, he all over Rogue. He slam dunk, put Rogue in the closet, threw her down the trash. No, I got the Galactus behind me. He went up, he went hard. This man went like, nah, that ain't even good enough, dog. Forget Galactus. Get your Thanos out of here. Nope.
Yeah.
This Google Molecule Man. That that man ain't. Yeah. Owen Reese.
He OP like that, overpowered. He OP like that.
Yeah,
My God.
He's OP.
Damn. Okay.
But that was you. Respect on that choice right there. That's a deep dig right there.
Yeah. And respect for you for coming on the 4L Nerd Show. I know everyone appreciated. Thank you all for listening, and we'll be right back with more Fan Show.
Thank you guys. We're amazing. Really appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you so much to Thee Malcolm Spellman for a hot fire interview. Thank you again so much. Thank you to everyone. We really hope you enjoyed that. I just really enjoy being able to ask the person behind the creation, one of the people behind the creation, about the choices that they make and the thoughts and the process. I think it's a really amazing learning experience.
Oh, facts. Like, especially someone, both of us are writers. We both work in around Hollywood. We've written scripts, etc. So to talk to a creator like that, a head writer, a showrunner, whatever you want to call it, the man in charge, the man with the plan, and just to get even a peek, a little glimpse behind that Marvel curtain and how they produce things and how they create things over there, why they're number one hit smashing, why they got us over here working every week doing Views from the 616 with no breaks.
Fam, we talked about this earlier, but the abridged version, Marvel is on our necks. Disney, Marvel, the whole Mickey from the Block is on our necks for now into eternity, because I don't see any breaks besides the one we're on now. I just don't see it, and I don't know what to do with my life.
Yeah.
Too much.
It's tight. It's tight, folks.
Oh my gosh. Can I have a vacation too? Disney said no.
And they ain't even giving us a check. So thank you once again to patreon.com/forallnerds for all y'all do to support us. Thank you so much for all the patrons. You help us bring you this Malcolm Spellman interview. You, as a reward just for y'all this week, you will get a review of the first 3 episodes of Le Bad Batch.
Le Bad Batch. Okay.
Now on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Bad Batch. Yeah.
Just
Bad
like
Batch.
the patrons are the only people who got our reviews of Invincible, which is still live. If you'd even, especially, we've gotten a lot of new patrons. Well, guess what? If you look into the big blog or the posting list, there are two, both the video version and the audio only version of our Invincible review. Again, Patreon exclusive. You have to be a patron in order to enjoy that. Patreon.com/4allnerds. Doesn't matter what tier you're on, but you have to be part of it.
Yeah, so especially because we got a lot of new patrons this week, and I know we're gonna get some more. So make sure you go back and check the Invincible review. If you haven't watched Invincible yet, if you're thinking about watching it, you should, because it's fantastic.
Fantastic.
You see well, you can't really see them back there, but I got the Invincible comics behind me.
Yes.
Big fans. We were deep into it. We went deep in on it, just like we did from Views from the 616. So once again, thank you to all the patrons over there.
Thank you. And if just exclusive podcasts and exclusive dialogues and video is not enough, we are always giving the goods to our Patreon fam. Only y'all get a special treat when it comes to promo codes and saving money as well, because we appreciate the money you give us. We want y'all to save money as much as y'all love to support us. You see this beautiful Inclusion is Revolution shirt designed by the Chrissy Chung. Well, you can get this on a variety of products, such as a t-shirt, such as a mug, such as your phone case. Ben Amin has the incredible Safe Negro podcast design. That was from our Lovecraft Country show. All of the incredible designs that go along with our shows, and from friends of the show who are incredible artists. Shout out to Sketch Sawyer, who has our Mohawk Storm on a motorbike, exclusive to For All Nerds, by the way. Can't get it anywhere else. We give you special privileges if you're on the Patreon. So you can use those special privileges towards the merch on our TeePublic, teepublic.com/stores with an S/4allnerds. And you go there, you get what you want. You can stock up, get some masks, whatever you like. Use your promo. We in there. And also, one other thing, when y'all get this stuff, like, tell us, send us pictures. We want to salute you. We want to celebrate you. We appreciate it. Because again, everything that you're doing goes back to the podcast. It goes back to allowing us to be able to do exclusive stuff for Patreon. Like, it's just this what is this virtuous cycle? Like, we love it and we appreciate you for everything you do. So please make sure you get on that. Ben, I mean, what do you have?
I got Mickey with
Mickey
his
from
foot,
the block, my
with
boss.
his foot on our neck, has the Views from the 616 on his face. You know what I mean? It's only fair because he got his, what is this? Spike.
His ball and chain.
Yeah, his ball and chain foot on our neck over here.
Yeah.
This is the Mickey that represents Disney and a foot on the neck.
Yes.
So Views from the 616 on the mask, you can get it there on our TeePublic page. I actually got complimented on my Storm t-shirt walking down the block the other day.
Oh, did you? On your exclusive For All Nerds only Storm t-shirt?
On that one,
that you could
one
get
in the same.
like 40 colors. I don't know. The colors are absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Depending
I got
on,
mine
what type
the pink
of shirt you get.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got the butter pink one, and somebody was like, "Yo, that joint is fire," and I was like, "Thank you very much, sir."
Yeah. Every shirt I've gotten, people have like said stuff to me on the street, like, "Oh, that's really cute," or "That's cool," or whatever. So not only are you supporting us, but you're also supporting your fashion clout in the streets.
The
so
Safe
make sure you're
Negro
doing
pod
that.
is that's a fire one.
Yeah,
That
and
shit
all
is
of
so
these
fire.
are readily matchable with those Jordans you are not winning anyway on the sneakers app. So
Wow.
I'm in the same L boat as all of y'all. That being said, thank you to everybody on the Twitch that is watching right the F now. Thank you. Twitch.tv/4allnerds. You know we love y'all because y'all hold it down with y'all incredible chat. The chat room is always popping and always lovely. And you know we're always in the chat room talking with you as well. Sometimes we're debating. Sometimes we're arguing. Sometimes we're having a good laugh. The point is we're in there having fun. So make sure you join us. And Ben, we do have news about the Twitch, don't we?
Yes, we do. Because not only now do we have the Views from the 616 every Monday at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. New time.
All those people who hit 6 p.m. on the polls are mad as shit right now.
I mean, look, this is only the time for night right now. It might change for Loki. We'll see.
Yeah.
6 p.m. is tight, though, y'all.
That's and there was a rhyme and reason to it, as Ben Amin's getting into.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rhyme and reason. And also, we have to remember, we have listeners all over.
International.
So, and so even if you're just talking about the U.S., like 3 p.m. New York time is only 12 noon Cali time.
Yes.
So, and then what is that like 3 p.m.? What is that like
10 p.m. in London.
10 p.m. for the Europe?
Yeah.
People in the UK. So
we're trying to make it fair for. I mean, I saw somebody tune in from Australia recently. For the Twitch channel.
The next day over there. Damn.
It literally was. They were talking about how it was the next day. So we're trying to make it. Just work it out for everyone. We know we can't please everyone, and we know most of our listeners are U.S. based. So we work it for y'all. 3 p.m. on the East Coast, 12 p.m. on the West Coast. 6 p.m. we start getting into people's dinner time. Look, it's summertime. I want to go out and get faded at 6. You know what I mean?
Like, be honest, right?
Yeah.
And also, as Benjamin said, and just in terms of, we understand we can't please everybody, but there's a way around it. It's called YouTube. It's called our YouTube page, youtube.com/forallnerdstv. If you missed something, I know it's so much fun doing it live with us, but you still want the information. You still want the content. You can go watch those replays on our YouTube channel. They're all there. And not only can you watch the views from the 616 replays, you can also watch all of the interviews that we've ever done. You can watch all the cool new content that's going to be there at some point. You can also watch all the replays from Uncolored Page, who is our gaming editor, or Uncolored P as he is known on the Twitch. And he is every week, every Wednesday and Friday, he is live streaming gaming. I think right now he's doing Resident Evil Village, which I am not going to play because I never liked Resident Evil too much, but he is doing it. So if you're in there or even if you're scared and you just want to watch what's going on so you can be informed, watch those live streams. You wouldn't know that unless you are you heart us on Twitch, twitch.tv/forallnerds at least. And if you, and I'm going to tell y'all again, I'm giving y'all all of the back doors, all this stuff. We love also when you subscribe to us on Twitch. We also recognize that you don't necessarily have the money to do that. Well, we also know you probably have Amazon Prime. And if you have Amazon Prime, that means you get a free monthly subscription to whatever channel you want. So why don't you use that to subscribe to us for free? There it is.
Question.
Just saying. I'm giving y'all everything. I'm giving y'all all the information. Like, there's no way. You can't win too. We want everybody to win as much as possible.
Yes, sir. And also on the Twitch, very soon, you will be able to catch me painting little figurines, which you can barely see right now. We're going to work that out for the
Necron from what's the stuff
Warhammer
called?
40K.
Warhammer.
This is my Necron figure, which I'm about halfway through painting right now. So I figured I'm going to start doing some little painting sessions, talking, playing music while I'm painting, some vinyl, some classics and all that stuff. Just chilling out,
That'd be nice.
Yeah, look for that on the late nights. Not sure what days, but probably some random late nights on Twitch. That's when I like to do my painting.
Yeah, if you were one of the lucky ones that saw me do my test gaming stream, where we were trying to figure out the volume and all that other stuff, I'm also streaming my gaming. So, you might see some cool stuff happen. Like at the time I was playing not Dynasty Warriors, but Hyrule Warriors, which is basically Dynasty Warriors with Zelda. So and it's the shit. I love it. And I'm gonna continue doing that. So like we said, we are putting in the work for all of y'all because we appreciate y'all and we love this.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be DJing tomorrow before the show from 1 to 3, just in case for people who are coming in for that regular views time at 1. You'll be like,
play music.
Look, it's me,
Mario.
It's me, Mario. So yes, make sure you follow us on twitch.tv/forallnerds, patreon.com/forallnerds, all the various places you can find this podcast on iTunes, on SoundCloud. Make sure you follow us, leave a 5-star rating. Want to give a quick big shout out to Toby Wan for coming through with the incredible, amazing artwork for this episode, featuring me as Baron Zemo, Malcolm Spellman as Captain America, and Tatiana King as the coldest Winter Soldier ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's us. Thank you, Toby. We appreciate it. Y'all gonna see me seeing that artwork. Ben, I just realized?
What's that?
You put an M in your head, so you Luigi brother now.